35 now, which means, apparently, sometime next year, if you graduate, you turn 36, there's no way you can apply for 485 visa, which means you're probably going to be left with 3 to 4 months student visa. Usually they give you about extra 3 months on your student visa. And that 3 months is very shorter period of time for preparing anything. Go for English test, go for skill assessment, and get for state, waiting for state nomination. It's nearly impossible to get anything done within 3 months. So the first question is, how are we going to extend the visa? Apparently, the easiest way will be student visa, but then the refusal rate is very high now. We see some clients, what they're doing is probably, if the main applicant, they say you are currently on your student visa, you're probably going to switch to your wife. It's probably a better idea because your wife is clean on your student visa application history. She applied again. Yeah, so you go as a spouse visa on your wife visa, go for another student visa. It's probably better, you continue to apply for another student visa if it's possible. If you're coming with your spouse, so it will be a good idea your spouse apply the visa in Australia, and then go for another student visa. That's the first thing. And second option will be 407 visa. I'll talk about later. And the next one is 482 visa. It's all employee sponsorship visa. Talking about student visa, when you launch the student visa, it's tricky now. The refusal rate, it's higher than usual. It's record high probably in the past 3 years. The refusal now sitting on record high in the past 3 years. When you apply for student visa, you need to understand your rights and after the refusal. So what we're suggesting for the clients, if they've been staying in Australia for a long time, if they come in for a student visa, and some people coming for the first student visa and a second student visa, and about to apply for the third student visa, the risk is very high. It works if you're simply looking for a couple of years to stay in Australia. That is possible. After your student visa, if the case is refusal, you can go for AAT all the time, right? You can go for tribunal for appeals, and the tribunal usually currently assists about 16 months, roughly about 16 months. So 1 year to 1 year and a half. That's the time can assure you can still stay in Australia. And you can use that bit period of time to prepare for, if you are working on your migration preparation, get your English test, get your skill assessment done, and improve your points, get a state nomination, if that's the time you need. Otherwise, after the tribunal, if the result comes as a negative, currently what we're seeing, the verdict from the AAT, it's quite in line with the department. I think that's certain kind of direction and instruction for a higher level. Department of Home Affairs. So I think what we're going to see is they don't want to see that the department refuses a student and the AAT say we bring them back. Okay, unless it's very external circumstances, extraordinary circumstances, you will see some people get approval by the AAT after refusal. So most of the scenario, it's AAT is just the procedure. What they're taking, it's they get you sitting in the system for 16 months or 18 months. That's it. And then they will ask you do you have any documents, additional document to supply for the refusal, which asking your further evidence. So for those students continue to studying on the course, that's the difference is. What we see in some people after they get refusal, they drop off on the course. Okay, just to save the money. They drop off on the course, they didn't attend the school at all. These people, when the AAT asks you to supply documents, you have no documents at all, actually. You don't have attendance sheet, you don't have a record, and that's a 100% refusal, even from AAT. We see some cases if the refusal happens because of the GTE problem, and the student continue to study on the course, show a very good rates of attendance, and then continue to prove those documents to AAT. AAT would take the documents and ask you to attend the hearings. When it comes to hearings, you have a much better chance to win the case because it's really about people to people. If I'm the assessor and you are here, you'll be able to explain how you come here. You'll be able to talk to him about your difficulty. And that's the people here making decision rather than the system making the decision. So the good thing is you need to bring forward to the hearing procedure, which means you need to keep your attendance. But as what we're looking currently, it's the rates get approval by AAT is lower than usual. That's what we're seeing. Okay, so I guess what you can expecting from AAT, it's really buying the time. 12 months, 16 months, and people were asking, what about after AAT? If I want to continue to stay in Australia for another, 6 months, 12 months, procedurally speaking, it's possible. You can go for circuit court. You can apply after AAT. You can apply to the circuit court, which is law court. Usually, it will take you another 6 months Yeah, it will take you another 6 months, further 6 months. But what we usually do is, what we usually suggest to clients, if you don't think you're going to win the case, it's unlikely you're going to win the case, you lodge the circuit court before you hear anything from the court, which is, you lodge there by a solicitor, right? If the solicitor informed you the court is calling you for the hearing, what you do is withdraw that application, because otherwise, if you go to the court, you have to pay for the fee. Yeah, and so you go through the procedure, you're going to owe the government certain kind of debts after the lawsuit. So probably another 6 months before they're calling you for the hearing, and most people withdraw the application. So what you're looking now, even you don't have time now, you go for another student visa, probably 18 months, 16 months for the AAT, another 6 months from the circuit court. You're looking at about 2 years. That's what we're looking for, buying you some time. If you don't have other option, 2 years to go. See if you can come up with anything in that 2 years, that's it. If not, that's probably the end of the visa pathway in Australia. So